Hey guys, so lately I've been getting a lot of questions about how I knew I was transgendered. And that's kind of a hard question for me because I've known all my life without really knowing. I know that probably doesn't make sense, but let me explain. My mom would always tell me stories about her catching me in her heels walking around when I was like 3 or 4, or watching like me just staring at her doing her makeup, or like just feminine things for a little boy to do. And like she would tell me stories about we'd be at the grocery store and she'd be like, "Oh, your daughter's so cute," and then she'd be like, "Oh, thank you, that's my son." So that's like the stories. I don't know if it's like hearing that makes me think I knew really young, but one of my earliest memories around has to be kindergarten or first grade, one of those grades. I remember sitting in class with all my other classmates and we're just playing around, having fun, and then they're like, "Okay, whoever needs to go to the bathroom, let's go." And I'm like just laughing, and I get in the line, and we're walking, and then I'm in the line with my friends, and I remember the teacher pulling me aside, "No, this is your line. This is the boys' line." And then I like didn't understand. I was like, "But my friends are all going in this line. I want to go to that bathroom." And then that's when I knew I was different. That like when I was like walking, like that didn't feel right to be in that group, that with the boys. So yeah, that's like one of my earliest memories where I knew I was different. So I always had that kind of in mind, but it never really hit me that I was different until like 5th grade. I had this best friend. Well, back then, you know what we call best friends. I remember me and I were best friends since 3rd grade, and it was like we were going to 6th grade, and it was like the summer going into 6th grade, and we meet another girl, and then she gets really close with us, and I remember her saying, "Oh no, this girl's Shelly's my best friend," and I'd be like, I'm changing the names. She's like, "Shelly's my best friend." I was like, "I thought I was your best friend." She was like, "Well, you're my other best friend because you're a boy." And I was like, "What does that mean?" I was like, "We've been best friends for 4 years now, or however many years." And then this girl just comes, she's like, "It's different because you're a boy and this is a girl. It's different." And then I was just like, I did not get it. I was like, how old was I? I don't know how old I was, but it just didn't make sense to me back then. And I just thought it was really unfair that just because I wasn't a girl that I couldn't. I think that sounds bizarre to anybody, really. But yeah, that's when I really knew that something was not right. And even before then, I kind of had little glimpses. Like, it's weird because I remember on birthday parties, I'd be like, "Okay, make a wish." And every time I'd be like, "I wish I was a girl. I wish I was a girl." Every time you blow out candles, I'm like, "I wish I was a girl." Or holding my breath under bridges. And it was so weird because I really didn't know what that meant, why I was doing it. I just did it. And I never like really connected to it until like I got older. So in middle school, it was kind of rough for me because before that, every single year I would pretty much switch schools or we'd moved around a lot. And finally, when I get to my middle school, we didn't have a lot of money, so then I didn't fit in then. I didn't know anybody. I went to school with all these people that went to school with each other since they were in kindergarten, pre-K. And there's me not knowing anybody. So, of course, you make friends, and people would ask me, "Are you gay? Are you gay?" And I'd be like, no, for the longest time, to like 7th grade. And then I started to think, maybe I am gay. I'm attracted to boys. Maybe that's what that means. So I came out as gay. And that kind of worked. Like, that was just a label, really. I still acted the same way. I still liked all the same things, but that, of course, kids that age comes like bullying. It wasn't never really bad, but like people would say, someone would come up to me like, oh, so a guy would come up to me and be like, oh, so-and-so said you like me. And I'd be like, no, and just try to block it off. Of course, those little stupid things little boys like to do. So I said this before in one of my other videos, but once I became a cheerleader in 9th grade, that like changed everything. Like I sought out this popularity, so the only way to do that is to be the cool gay guy. And that meant that I had to contain myself and not show who I really was. Like, I had to be the gay guy that wasn't flamboyant or just wasn't really out there. I was very chill. I was normal. And all the straight guys would be like, oh, I'm so happy you're just normal and you're not crazy, you're all not out there. And I'd be like, I know, right? I hate it. And I went on with that, and I've already touched on this many times, so I'm not going to go into it, how that made me feel and what that really did, but yeah. So after that, after graduation, I had my knee surgery. Like I said in my other video, I was out for a while. So after my surgery, after I got healed, I started hanging out with this group of friends, and I love them, and we're not so close anymore, but okay. So I started hanging out with these people, and they just accepted me for who I was. Not that like my friends wouldn't have, it's just because they didn't know me for all that long, so I could kind of be who I was. So I got so comfortable around these people, and we made bad decisions. Honestly, I got really into drugs, ecstasy, to be upfront about it. I'm not proud of it. I don't do it anymore. That was one of the darkest times of my life because I was so lonely and confused about my life that the only time I was really happy is when I was rolling or I was drunk. And these people like to do the same things, so we all kind of snowballed together. And I just remember being in a bad place then. Like everything was just different. So finally, when I got out of that whole situation, thank God we all did. We're all okay now. But after that, like I really started evaluating my life. Like, who am I? And that's when I stumbled across some documentary about transgendered kids or teens or something like that. And I was like, whoa, this has a face. Like, I know what this is. And I kind of wish I knew before. Like, well, I don't know. Sometimes I have so many, like, people that follow me on Tumblr or subscribe to this. Sometimes I'll get a message like, oh, I'm transitioning in high school. It's so hard, but you make it easier for me. And they're like, oh, they compliment me for being strong, but I think that they're the strong ones. They had the courage and the strength and the self-awareness to go through that through high school. And that's amazing to me. Like, that's so amazing to me because I wish I had that. But I'm glad I don't, because I didn't have to deal with kind of what they're going through. I was out of high school, and no one really does that in college. So it's like, but really I applaud anyone that goes through transition in high school, because I can't even imagine what you have to go through. Yeah, so that's when I came out to my family. I literally researched what transgendered was and all these things for about 1.5 years before I came out to my family. Before I knew that was for sure what I wanted to do. And I never looked back. Okay guys, that's just my story about when I knew that I was transgendered. I really want to hear what your guys' story is, so please write it in the comment box, and I want to hear it. I want to see everybody's different stories. I think it's amazing how people knew their whole life, or some people that didn't know at all until like a year ago, and they're like, wow, you know what I mean? Like some people have no clue. I just find that really fascinating. So please leave your story when you figured out you were transgendered, and I can't wait to read them. Keep in contact with me. I've been getting so many people on Facebook and Instagram writing me saying that they watch my videos, and I'm finding new friends, and I freaking love it. So continue doing that. All the links are down below. Yeah, remember to keep happiness first.